Dear students, next we'll discuss how to calculate throughput of the system. Next we are almost going to finish the CPU scheduling. So let's discuss the last parts. So calculating throughput of the system. So till now we discussed how to calculate normal average turnaround time and waiting time. So we have not seen this how to calculating throughput of the system. Now just copy this question and try to give attempt from your side. Check how you calculate the throughput. So throughput of the system, how you calculate throughput? I gave you the definition in the first day class. Now the question is what is the throughput of the system? What is the throughput of the system using FCFS, first come first serve. So it's just asking only throughput of the system using FCFS. So copy this question here. Process number, arrival time and bus time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and arrival time 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and bus time is 2, 3, 6, 8, 4, 5. So these are the bus times given to you. So you just need to find out throughput of the system. I gave you the definition in the first day class. So what is the definition of the throughput? I told you. Throughput definition, hope all of you remembered. Throughput is the number of jobs completed for unit time. Number of jobs completed for unit time, that is called as throughput of the system. Now check how you will calculate the throughput. So all the values are given to you. So give it an attempt. So I will wait around 10 seconds in the live. Otherwise I will explain. After that I will explain. Just give it a try. Just pause my video and try to solve by yourself. Now understand here. So I am going to discuss. So let's see how you are solving. So how I am going to solve. Listen here. So throughput of the system using FCFS. So first draw the Gantt chart first. Don't worry what is asking and all that. First draw the Gantt chart. So time always starts at 0. Remember it's just first come first serve. I am drawing the Gantt chart by using first come first serve. So time always starts at 0. At the time 0 only P1 is there. So no confusion, directly start with the P1 first. Now remember P1 requires 2 units of time, so it will complete at the time 2. Now once P1 is completed, present time is 2, by the time 2, P2 and P3 both are available. Now so among these two, which one you schedule first? Same, FCFS, first come first serve, जो पहले आया उसको पहले चला रहा है, simple. So दोनों में कौन पहले आया? P2. So take the P2 next. Now P2 requires 3, so that is 5, 2 plus 3, 5. So by the time 5, all the other process arrived. So next among 3, 4, 5, 6, who's the next process you take? P3. So take the P3 next. Now P3 requires 6, so that is 11. So now P3 completed. Next is your P4. So I am drawing the Gantt chart by using FCFS, first come first serve. Nothing great in this, simple. So that is 8, so that is 19, 11 plus 8, 19. And next is your P5. So P5 requires 4, that is 23. And the last one is your P6. So P6 requires how much here? P6 requires 5. So that is 28. Is the values are correct? So that is 2 and 5. 11, 19. And that is 4. 23. Right. So fine. Now this is the values given to you. Correct. So now all are correct. Now throughput of the system, generally how you are thinking, how you calculate the throughput. Now understand here, throughput of the system, generally you calculate number of jobs completed for unit time. So generally you might have done like this. In the 28 seconds to complete all these jobs, how much time you are taking? 28 seconds. So in the 28 seconds you are completing 6 jobs. So in 1 second how many jobs you complete? So that is 1 by 28 multiply with 6. So that is 6 by 28. So that is indirectly how much is this value? 0.2142. So I think all of you got the same thing. But remember, so this is the wrong approach. ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. So कैसा करना चाहिए? Understand here. The throughput of the system, the formula is ओके, नोट डाउन, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. ओके, नोट डाउन द फार्मूला विल बी थ्रूपुट ऑफ द सिस्टम, थ्रूपुट इक्वल टू द फार्मूला इज number of processes divided by max of completion time minus minimum of arrival time. Max of completion time minus minimum of arrival time. So this is the formula for the throughput. Don't worry, I will explain. Okay, everything I will explain. क्या doubt आता है सब पता है, पहले सुनो अच्छे से. Right. So number of process. How many processes are there here? 6 process. Okay, very good. So the 6 processes are there. And the max of completion time. Completion time में maximum क्या है? Okay, completion में maximum क्या है? 28. Okay. So minus minimum of arrival time. Minimum of arrival time. Arrival time में minimum क्या है? Arrival time में minimum क्या है? देखो, arrival time में minimum is what? 0. So minimum arrival time is 0. So that is 6 minus 6 divided by 28 minus 0. That is 6 by 28. So that is same 0.2142. Is that clear? So remember, answer may be same, but the approach is different. So approach you have to follow like this. Now remember, in the question, if he is asking throughput, you have to write 0.2142. Okay. In case if he is asking the throughput, percentage of throughput, you have to write 21.42%. Okay. Just in case if he is asking percentage, you have to write 21.42. Is the point clear? So this is how you solve the problem. Next, so now you are having the small doubt. So why we are following this formula and all that? Don't worry, you will understand all that. Okay, सारे एक question में सब कुछ नहीं आएगा. Okay, so just wait. So note down the next question. You will understand that. Next question आपको करना है. Now I told you the procedure. Okay, please note down the next question. Process number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 3, 9, 12, 2, 13, 3. So that is 2, 8, 6, 3, 7, 1. Okay. So just copy this question. Same thing I want to find out. What is the throughput of the system using FCFS? So please copy the question carefully. I want you to solve this problem. Okay. I will wait 10 seconds in the live. Otherwise I will explain. So think carefully. Same first come first serve से निकालने का. Okay. Remember. Hope I am visible to all of you. Right. So first come first serve से निकालना है. Same thing. Okay. What is the throughput of the system using FCFS? These are the values given to you. Copy the question carefully. Pause my video and I will wait 10 seconds in the live and then I will explain. Remember, it is just like a real class. Just like a real class. I am following in the same manner. Okay, proper notes और pen लेके अच्छे से copy करो, solve करो. Okay, right? Then later you can check, because slowly I want to eliminate your mistakes. What mistakes you are going to do, I know all that. Is that clear? So please follow the instructions carefully. Right? So copy this and try to solve the question. Okay. Now, so I am going to discuss. Okay, I am assuming all of you tried. Okay, if you are not tried, अभी तक अगर आपका नहीं हुआ है तो pause करो, वीडियो pause करो, solution नहीं देखना. Okay, मैं कैसे किया, तुम कैसे कर रहे हैं, मेरा कहाँ तक आया, तुम्हारा कहाँ तक आया, ऐसा नहीं करना. Right? So now understand here. So time always starts at 0. First come first serve से question Gantt chart बना रहा हूँ. Right? So time always starts at 0. The first process क्या time पे आ रहा है बताओ? Time 2 पे आ रहा है. तो इसका मतलब 0 to 2 CPU will be idle. Okay, 0 to 2 CPU will be idle. So at the time 2, which process is available now? Okay, only P4 available. Only P4 available. So no confusion. Directly start with the P4 first. Now understand here P4 requires how much here? 3. 2 plus 3. How much is that? 5. So now P4 completed the execution. Now once P4 completed, present time is 5. By the time 5, what are the other process available? By the time 5, P1 is available and P6 available. P1 and P6 both are available. Now ये दोनों का arrival time match हुआ. Okay, understand here? Arrival time match हुआ. FCFS, all the things are given to you in the notes. First come first serve. Okay, arrival times अगर match हुआ तो क्या follow करना है? Default lowest process ID. So किसका process ID कम है? Okay, P1. So next take the P1 next. Now P1 requires 2. So that is 7. Now P1 is completed. Next you take what? Okay, that is P6. So next take the P6 next. Now P6 requires how much here? 1. So that is 8. Now P6 completed. Now listen here, some people are okay, some people are still doing the mistake. Stupid fellows. Okay, somebody is still doing mistake. Okay, FCFS में गलत कर रहा है. देखो present time is 8. At the time 8, is there any other process available? देखो arrival time देखो, time 8 पे कोई दूसरा process available है? नहीं है. Next process क्या time पे आ रहा है? देखो यहाँ पे 9 पे आ रहा है. So कुछ लोग क्या किया मालूम? Okay, P2 यहाँ पे चला रहा है. Somebody executed P2 directly at the time 8. Okay, you have to be very careful. Okay, what is the present time? What is the arrival time? You have to check everything, right? FCFS से अगर Gantt chart गलत बना रहे तो क्या होगा? So it's really waste. Okay, now think of that. Okay, now it means what? 8 to 9 CPU will be idle because next process coming at the time 9. So 8 to 9 CPU will be idle. So at the time 9, now P2 is available. So no confusion. Take the P2 next. Now P2 requires 8. So that is how much? 9 plus 8. That is 17. Okay, correct. So now, okay, P2 completed. Now present time is 17. By the time 17, now P3 came and also P5 arrived. Okay, P3 and P5 दोनों आ चुका है. आप बताओ ये दोनों में कौन पहले आ रहा है? ये 12 पे 13 पे. So next is your P3. So take the P3 next. Now, okay, understand P3 requires 6. So that is how much here? 23. Now P3 completed and the last one is your P5. Okay, P5 requires 7. So that is how much here? 30. Okay. So this is how, okay, you need to solve the problem. So at the time 30, okay, all the process complete the execution. So this is how, okay, you need to solve the problem. Hope this is clear for everyone. Right. Now remember, okay, now apply in the formula. Okay, let's find out the answer first. Answer to nikalo pehle. So now many people are doing mistake. I will discuss about that later. Now understand here. So if you observe that number of process, how many processes are there? 6. Max of completion time. आपको क्या डाउट आता है पता है? पहले सुनो मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ, राइट? सो मैक्स ऑफ कंप्लीशन टाइम, मैक्सिमम कंप्लीशन टाइम कितना है बताओ? 30. सो दैट इज 30. मिनिमम ऑफ अराइवल टाइम, अराइवल टाइम में मिनिमम क्या है? अराइवल टाइम में मिनिमम क्या है? 2 है. सो -2. ओके, सो दैट इज 6 डिवाइडेड बाय 30 minus 2, दैट इज 6 by 28. सो हाउ मच इज दिस वैल्यू? 0.2142. एग्जैक्टली जस्ट लाइक अ प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन. ओके, सो सेम थिंग इन द क्वेश्चन इफ इज आस्किंग परसेंटेज, you have to write 21.42. So to find out the throughput of the system. So generally many students will do the mistake here. Okay, right? यहाँ पे mistake करते. Okay, ये idle time को miss करते सब लोग. Okay, so remember if you are missing this idle time, okay, what does that mean? Okay, पूरा CPU scheduling हो गया. I have explained the entire CPU scheduling almost around 8 hours. Okay, after listening to entire CPU scheduling, you forgot FCFS. That is really bad. Okay, right? You have to be very careful. Please be careful. Okay, understand what are the mistakes you are doing and try to rectify them. So small mistake will cause you, okay, negative marks, and that will automatically bring, okay, 500 ranks down. Okay, right? Remember that carefully. And next, now आपको क्या doubt होता है? सर ये formula क्यों use कर रहे हैं? Why you are using this formula? You will have that doubt. Now remember, max of completion time minus minimum of arrival time. What is that means? Remember that is called as schedule length. That's called as schedule length. Schedule length is called as max of completion time minus minimum of arrival time. So that is called as a schedule length. Okay, max of completion time minus minimum of arrival time. Okay, so that is a schedule length. Now what is the meaning of schedule length? Listen here. मैक्स ऑफ कंप्लीशन टाइम माइनस मिनिमम ऑफ अराइवल टाइम. इसका मतलब क्या है? पहले प्रोसेस कब आया? व्हाट इज दैट? एट व्हाट टाइम द फर्स्ट प्रोसेस अराइव्ड इनटू सिस्टम? एट व्हाट टाइम फर्स्ट प्रोसेस अराइव्ड इनटू सिस्टम? and at what time the last process completed in the system. The total time interval is called as what? Schedule length. Remember, we are finding the throughput of the system for the schedule length. Whatever the schedule length given to you, we are finding the schedule length. Okay, throughput for the schedule length. Hope this is clear, right? So I am repeating. Okay, so ये क्या क्यों include कर रहा है? Okay, आपको क्या doubt होता है फिर से? सर ये idle time को include नहीं किया. Okay, ये idle time को include नहीं करोगे क्योंकि okay system चालू ही नहीं हुआ. System is not yet started because there is no process at all. Okay, the system will start once the process is okay arrived into ready state. Now remember, once the process arrived, इसका मतलब scheduling चालू हो चुका है. Okay, scheduling is already done. So it means the first process arrival to last process completion, the total time interval is called as a schedule length. Remember, we are finding the throughput of the system for the given schedule length. So this is how okay you calculate throughput of the system. Okay, hope this is clear. Okay, you are having in case क्वेश्चन में अगर थ्रूपुट परसेंटेज पूछा है तो 21.42 टाइप करना है. नॉर्मल थ्रूपुट पूछा है सो 0.214 और 42 मतलब up to how many decimals he is asking, depending on that you have to type. Okay, right. So don't make any mistakes okay while doing the calculation, right? Okay. Okay, so next in the continuation okay next we will discuss okay we will take up one okay one more question. Okay, this is one of the good question and interesting question. Okay, note down the question. I'll write the question here. Note down. Consider the following dependency graph between the processes. Consider the following dependency graph between the processes. Okay, copy this graph here. P1, P2, P2, P3. Copy the question. I will explain what is the meaning of this. Okay. So these are the burst times of the processes. Just copy that. These are the burst times of the process. What is the question is asking? I will explain. Don't worry. Okay. Let me write the question. At what time all the processes complete their execution by using two CPU processors. So note, okay, the two things are given. So use non-preemptive mode. Next, one process cannot use two CPUs at the same time. One process cannot use 2 CPUs at the same time. So options are given to you. So 17, 18, 19, 20 and 21. Okay, total 5 options are given to you. Okay, so first, okay, before I explain, just pause my video. Okay, just completely properly copy the question. Okay, now understand here. Okay, what is the question is asking? Consider the following dependency graph between the processor. Listen the question first. Okay, when I am explaining, after that I will give you time. Okay, then you will solve the problem. Consider the following dependency graph between the processes. So it's asking, is saying the dependency graph between the process. What is the dependency here? Okay, P1, okay, your P2, P3 here. It means what? Only after completion of process P1, you have to execute P2 and P3. Remember, only after completion of process P1, you have to execute P2 and P3. And only after completion of process P2, you have to execute either P5 and P4 and P5. And remember, only after completion of both P4 and P5, then only you have to execute what? Either P6 and P7. Remember, ये डिपेंडेंसी का मतलब क्या होता है? P1 कंप्लीट होने के बाद ही P2, P3 चलाना है. इसका मतलब क्या है? हो सकता है, there may be chance that the output of P1 is used as input into P3 and P4. So that is the dependency here. And remember, only after completion of P6, P7 and P3, okay, once all these 3 are completed, then only you can execute what? P8. Okay, so these are the, okay, bus times given to you. Okay, that is the dependency graph, and these are the bus times. P1 bus time 2 here, so this is 3 and this 6, 2, 2, okay, 4, 5 and this also 4. Right, now what is the question is asking? Understand here, at what time all the processes complete their execution by using 2 CPU processors. Remember, whatever the questions we solved as of now, we just consider only 1 CPU processor. But remember, in this he is asking what? You want to use 2 CPU processors. Okay, now note में क्या दिया? Note में use non-preemptive mode. Okay, that's the first thing. Is asking you to use non-preemptive mode, and the second thing he said, one process cannot use 2 CPUs at the same time. One process cannot use the 2 CPUs at the same time. So that is the second note he has given. Now remember, what is not given in the question? First point, arrival times are not given. Remember, if the arrival times are not given, assume as what? 0. Arrival times are not given, assume as 0. Remember, what is important? What is important? Dependency is important. Dependency should not violate. Dependency should not violate. What is the dependency here? Only after completion of P1, you have to execute P2 and P3. So that is the dependency. Dependency should not violate. So you have to maintain that proper dependency. Now, how you are going to solve the problem? How you are going to solve the problem? You are having 2 CPU processors here. Okay, now I'll just simply, okay, show you. I'll simply show you, okay, how you draw the Gantt chart. Okay. Now, look at here, I will simply show you, I am removing this, I am assuming all of you, okay, copied the question. Okay, अभी तक क्या था? Okay, एक ही CPU था. Okay, now remember note में क्या दिया? Use non-preemptive mode. Non-preemptive mode use करना है, and one CPU cannot use, okay, one processor cannot use the 2 CPUs at the same time. एक ही process 2 CPU को use नहीं करेगा. So ये दोनों को आपको maintain करना है. So you need to maintain these 2 things, okay, while solving the problem. Now, how you solve the problem? Okay, just listen here. Okay, you are having CPU 1, okay, and you are also having CPU 2. Okay, you are having both the CPUs here, CPU 1 and CPU 2, both are there. Now, अभी तक क्या था? एक ही CPU था. Okay, you are writing only one line. Okay, so let's say, okay, one box, something like this. But remember, now you are having 2 CPUs. Okay, you have to draw the Gantt chart like this. Time always starts at 0. Listen carefully. So time always starts at 0. At the time 0, okay, all are available, but remember what is important? Dependency is important. Okay, so it means what? So you start with the P1. Let's say both are freely available. So I am starting with the P1 here. Now I am started with the P1 here. P1 requires how much time here? 2 units of time. Look at here. So P1 will complete at the time 2. Now remember, when I am scheduling P1 here, यहाँ पे CPU2 खाली था, यहाँ पे CPU2 खाली है. So can I take process P2 there? Process P2 को अपन schedule कर सकते? Okay, you cannot. Why? Because what is the dependency we have? Only after completion of process P1, then only you can execute either P2 or P3. You only after completion of process P1 you have to execute either P2 or P3. So it means what is the dependency says here? Okay, जब तक P1 खत्म नहीं होगा आपको P2 P3 नहीं चला सकते, right? So यहाँ पे क्या होगा बताओ? CPU2 will be what? Idle. CPU2 will be idle. Now once P1 is completed, now both the CPUs are available. Now dependency is completed. Now you can take here P2 and P3. So you can take P2 and P3. So now continue in the same manner. Okay, dependency को अच्छे से follow करो. Follow the dependency, okay, properly, and try to find out at what time all the process complete their execution. So try to solve the problem. I'll wait around 10 seconds in the live. Otherwise, I'll explain. Okay. Now, if you still somebody solving, then you can pause my video and okay, later you can see the solution. So, I am going to explain, just listen here. Now, P2 requires how much here? 3 and P3 requires how much here? 6 seconds. Now, minimum is what? 3 here. So, how many seconds you execute here? 3 seconds चलाओ तो क्या होगा? 5 होगा. So, remaining time क्या होगा बताओ? Okay, now P1 का खत्म हो गया. So, this becomes 0. Okay, इसका पूरा 3 हो गया. इसका 3 खत्म हो गया. तो remaining time will be what? 3 here. Correct. So, now understand here. Next, now P3 still requires how much here? 3 units of time. Remember, P3 is still continuing. So, P3 अभी भी continue कर रहा है. P3 अभी भी continue कर रहा है. Okay. Now, remember, so P2, P3 में, so अभी preempt नहीं किया. ध्यान से सुनो, मैं preempt नहीं किया. P3 अभी भी continue कर रहा है. Okay, right? अपने को easy होने के लिए ऐसा लिख रहा हूँ बस. Now, remember, so यहाँ पे CPU1 खाली हो गया. Time 5 पे CPU1 खाली हो गया. Now, can you schedule P2, P4 here? Yes. Dependency क्या था? Once P2 completed, you can execute P4 or either P5. Anything you can take. So, I am taking P4 here. Now tell me. Now, P3 requires 3 units of time. That requires 2 units of time. Now, tell me how many seconds you have to execute? Minimum you have to take 2 seconds. So, that is 7. Okay, look at here. So, that becomes 0 and this becomes 1. Remaining time is 1. Now, remember P3 is still continuing. I am not preempting P3. P3 अभी preempt नहीं किया. So, P3 अभी भी चल रहा है. And next, now can you take P5 here? P5, okay, right? On the CPU1 you can take P5. So, okay, CPU1 is freely available. Take the P5 there. Okay. So, this requires 1 and this requires 2. How many seconds to execute? Execute 1 second. So, that is 8. Okay, look at here. So, that becomes 0 and that becomes 1. Okay, दोनों CPU पे चल रहे हैं ना, अलग-अलग CPU है, अलग-अलग प्रोसेसर, no problem. Now, next, now P5 still requires 1 unit of time. So, P5 still continuing the execution. And next, now यहाँ पे P5 जब और एक सेकंड चला रहा है, okay, now यहाँ पे CPU2 अपना खाली है. So, can I take P6 here? Now tell me. Okay, now यहाँ पे can I take P6 here? No, you cannot take because the dependency क्या बोल रहा है? What's the dependency? Only after completion of P4 and P5, then only you can execute either P6 or P7. So, it means now you cannot take okay any process on the CPU2. So, CPU2 will be idle here. So, 8 to 9 CPU2 will be idle. So, on that 1 second, so that becomes 0. So, now at the time 9, now both the CPUs are freely available. Now, you can take either P6 or P7. दोनों आप चला सकते हो, दोनों एक CPU पे चला सकते हैं. So, next, so I am taking P6 here and P7 here. So, this requires 4, this requires 5. So, that is how much here? Minimum you execute 4 seconds. That is okay 13. So, that becomes 0, that becomes 1. Right? So, next, now understand here, P7 still requires 1 unit of time. So, P7 is still continuing the execution. Now, यहाँ पे अभी CPU1 खाली हो गया. Can you execute P8 here? Remember? No. Dependency क्या है? Only after completion of P6, P7 and P3, then only you can execute what? Process P8. So, it means now when यहाँ पे execute one, when you are executing this 1 unit here, so CPU1 remains idle. So, in that 1 second, what happened? That becomes 0. And next, now at the time 14, okay, now both the CPUs are freely available. पूरा dependency हो गया. Now you can take P8 on any CPU. No problem. So, P8 को आप यहाँ पे चलाओ तो यहाँ पे चलाओ. So, no problem. So, this will be idle here. So, that requires okay 4 seconds. That is 18. So, now look at here. So, that becomes 0 here. So, at the time 18, okay, all the process complete the execution. So, this is how okay you execute the process. Is that clear? So, right answer is what? B is the right answer. Okay. So, this is how you need to solve the problem. Remember, this is a multi-processor scheduling. Multi-processor scheduling. So in case if I add, okay, like preemptive, okay, if I add priority to the process, if I say preemptive priority, okay, so that becomes more complicated. So I just wanted to show you, okay, the sample question, like how it will be like by using multi-processor scheduling. So hope it is clear. So right answer is 18. So this is how you solve the problem, right? So thank you. So dear students, next we are going to discuss the whatever the algorithms we have studied and starvation problem in that, okay. So we are making the conclusion about all the algorithms, just make a note of this. So let's see what are the algorithms we studied and starvation problem. FCFS we studied, and next non-preemptive, shortage of first. I think all of you remember the order, okay. So how we studied, and next SRTF we studied, shortest remaining time first, and after that we studied round robin scheduling. Next non-preemptive, longest job first, okay, and next we studied LRTF, longest remaining time first, and next we studied non-preemptive priority, and next is preemptive priority. Make the notes, preemptive priority, and next we studied what, highest response ratio next, and the next number 9 we studied multi-level queue scheduling, okay. And okay, oh sorry, printing mistake happened here, 4 4, this is 5 6 7 8 9, okay, 10 and 11. So last one is what, multi-level feedback queue scheduling. So let's see, okay, in which algorithm we have starvation and which algorithm we don't have starvation, okay. So make a proper notes of all this. So we'll just check out in which algorithm we have starvation and which algorithm we don't have starvation, okay. Now think and tell me, okay, you have to think and answer, okay, when I am discussing. So if you are still copying, just pause my video and copy this, okay. Now listen here, okay, let's try to understand. Now first is FCFS, okay, think and tell me, first come first serve, do you have starvation, okay, yes or no, do you have starvation, okay, that is no, right answer is no. So somebody thinking yes, okay, don't worry, what are your okay doubts, I'll explain all that, okay. If anybody thinking yes, so that is wrong answer, that is no. Why? Because if somebody thinking yes, you may be thinking like this, let's say you are having process number, arrival time, okay, bus time here, okay, just an example. So let's say you are having 1 2 3, okay, 4, it's having arrival time 0 1 2 3, just think carefully, and it's having bus time 300, and it's having okay, 4 2, let's say 3, something like this. Now okay, just in case FCFS, I'm talking about FCFS, first come first serve. First come first serve, if anybody thinking there is a starvation, you may be thinking like this, the first process is having 300 bus time, okay, once unless and until this completes the execution, you are not going to schedule this process. So you may be thinking that okay, until this time, okay, this process will go into starvation. So remember, that is wrong, okay. Remember, when you are having large process like this, these processes are waiting for this process to complete, that is fine, waiting is there, but remember, that is called as definite waiting. That's called as what? Definite waiting. So starvation का definition क्या था? Indefinite waiting of a process is called as a starvation. Indefinite waiting, okay. Remember, you are having waiting is there, but definite waiting. Why? Because 300 time खत्म होते ही पक्का इसको chance मिलेगा ही मिलेगा, right? Once 300 is completed, definitely the next process P2 will go into execution. So waiting is there, but that is called as a definite waiting, okay. So there is no starvation in this. Now think and tell me, non-preemptive shortest job first. So in the non-preemptive shortage of first, do you have the starvation here? Okay, yes, we are having the starvation. So how we are having starvation? Okay, somebody thinking yes, somebody thinking no. Just listen here. So let's say at the time 0, okay, two processes are the same. Okay, time 0, this having, okay, both are arriving at the time 0, this having bus time 300. Look at here. Now think and try to understand, think and tell me. At the time 0, both are arrived. Okay, think and tell me. Shortage of first, non-preemptive shortage of first की बात कर रहा हूँ. So at the time 0, both are available. This requires bus time 300, bus time 4. Now tell me which one you execute first, P1 or P2? Okay, P2, because P2 is the shortest bus time. Is that clear? So arrival time तो match है, दोनों available है, दोनों में किसका bus time कम है? Okay, P2 का कम है. So you start with the P2 first. Listen carefully. Once P2 completed, these two are arrived. Now after P2 you execute next, which one you execute? P3. After that you execute what? P4. Now remember, in the same manner, if the new shorter processes keep on coming, अगर छोटे प्रोसेस, ओके, छोटे प्रोसेस, नया प्रोसेस छोटे वाले आते ही जा रहे, तो मतलब जिसका बस टाइम 1 है, ओके, जिसका बस टाइम 1 है, आते ही जा रहे, तो क्या होगा? दिस प्रोसेस विल गोइंग टू व्हाट? इनडेफिनेट वेटिंग. So even though P1 is coming at the time 0, that will go into indefinite waiting. उसको चांस ही नहीं मिलेगा. Is that clear? Because अगर छोटे प्रोसेस नया वाला आते ही जा रहे हैं, so this will definitely go into what? Indefinite waiting. Is that clear? So starvation is possible, right? So that is yes. And next SRTF. Think and tell me shortest remaining time first. Okay, shortest remaining time first. Do you have starvation here? Yes. So in this also, okay, we are having starvation. Same thing. Okay, if the smaller process keep on coming, the longer process will go into starvation. And next, round robin. Do you have starvation in the round robin? Think and tell me. Round robin. Do you have starvation? Okay. So understand. Answer is no. There is no starvation in the round robin, because in the round robin also you are scheduling the processes based on the arrival time only. Because criteria is arrival time and time quantum, both are there. Is that clear? So you are scheduling the process with the both, okay, arrival time also. Arrival time only, according to arrival time only, you are placing the process in the ready queue. So there is no starvation here. Next, okay, so 5 and 6, okay, we'll discuss later. 5 and 6 बाद में करेंगे. तो पहले बताओ number 7, non-preemptive priority. पहले इसके बारे में बताओ. Non-preemptive priority. Do you have starvation here? Yes. So same thing, okay, if the high priority process keep on coming, the low priority process will go into what? Starvation. Okay, simple. And next, preemptive priority. Do you have starvation? Yes. So same thing, if the high priority process keep on coming, the low priority will go into what? Starvation. Next, highest response ratio. Next, okay, think and tell me. एक statement लिखे थे अपन, notes में एक statement लिखे थे. Okay, so think and tell me. Highest response ratio. Next, do you have starvation here? नोट्स में देखो अच्छे से, मेरा वीडियो पास करो. ओके, मैं जल्दी जा रहा हूं तो पास करो. ओके, आपको आइडिया आना चाहिए, रेगुलर क्लास है. ओके, राइट, पास करके, ओके, नोट्स में पढ़ो. एक बार एक स्टेटमेंट दिए थे, उसको पढ़ने के बाद थोड़ा सोच के बताओ, वीडियो पास करो. ओके, सो राइट आंसर इज ओके, नो. अंडरस्टैंड हियर. सो हाईएस्ट रिस्पांस रेशियो. नेक्स्ट, there is no starvation. Why? If anybody is having doubt, so same thing, response ratio, the formula was what? W plus S by S. Already बताया था. Okay, so in this formula, what you understand here? If the W is increasing, then also the response ratio will increase. And okay, S is decreasing, then also response ratio will increase. Is that clear? Right? So W बढ़ रहा है तो भी response ratio बढ़ेगा. Okay, process का अगर waiting time बढ़ रहा है तो entire response ratio will okay increase and process will definitely get a chance to execute. So मतलब ज़्यादा देर तक अपन process को wait नहीं करवाएंगे. Is that clear? So sorry, if the waiting time is increasing, the response ratio will increase. So okay, there is no starvation. And next, multi-level queue scheduling. बताओ, अभी किए थे मल्टी लेवल क्यू शेड्यूलिंग. डू यू हैव स्टारवेशन हियर? यस. एंड मल्टी लेवल फीडबैक क्यू. डू यू हैव स्टारवेशन? यस. ओके, अभी तो बताया था. ओके, दैट इज यस. नेक्स्ट, Now think and tell me number 5, non-preemptive longest job first. Do you have starvation? Non-preemptive longest job first. Do you have starvation there? Okay, so understand here. So that is a yes. Why? Because if the longer process keep on coming, the shorter process will go into what? Starvation. So that is yes. And next, now think and tell me LRTF, longest remaining time first. So think and tell me LRTF. नोट्स में एक क्वेश्चन किए थे, पहले सुनो मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ, LRTF लॉन्गेस्ट रिमेनिंग टाइम फर्स्ट के लिए नोट्स में एक क्वेश्चन किए थे. वो क्वेश्चन को देखो अच्छे से, क्वेश्चन को वहां पे देखो अच्छे से, उसके बाद 1 मिनट सोचो अच्छे से, उसके बाद बताओ. ओके, मेरा वीडियो पॉज करो. ओके, नोट्स में देखो क्वेश्चन को, 1 मिनट सोचो, उसके बाद बताओ. ओके, जो चाहे वो नहीं बोलना, गेसिंग नहीं करने का. Pause my video. Okay. Now understand here, exactly the same question was there, okay, in the notes. Okay, I told you the exactly same question, okay, when I discussed longest remaining time first. Okay, देखो वहां पे क्या हुआ था. Okay, longest remaining time first. First, what is the answer? Do you have starvation? Yes or no? What is the answer you are having? Somebody thinking yes, somebody thinking no, right? So let's say what is the right answer? Right answer is what? Okay, so that is no. Right answer is no. Now understand here, there is no starvation in the longest remaining time first. Why? Because just listen carefully. Okay, listen here. Okay, I'll explain all your doubts. जो भी doubt आता है तुमको सब पता है. Okay, right? टेंशन मत लो. Okay, पूरा अच्छे से सुनो ध्यान से, बस इतना ही है तुम्हारा काम. Right? So first, okay, same question was there in the notes. So first we started with the P1. P1 को 1 यूनिट चलाया, उसके बाद P2 आया. So P2 also P2 was the longest job, so P1 छोड़ के P2 आया, executed for 1 unit, so that is 3. Now by the time 3, okay, sorry, it was okay, something like this, 3 4, okay, same question, same thing. Okay, by the time 3, okay, someday next, okay, P3 also arrived, okay, P3 आया था, so इसको 1 यूनिट चलाया 5 and remaining time was what? Okay, 5. Okay, time next, इसको चलाते ही time 4 हो गया, तो आपका P4 भी आ गया, तो इसको चलाया 1 यूनिट, that is 7. Now उसके बाद क्या किया? After that, what you have done? Okay, you have executed for 1 more unit, 6. We have executed for 1 more unit, 5. थोड़ी देर चलने के बाद, ये थोड़ी देर चलने के बाद, कभी ना कभी, after executing this process for some amount of time, definitely the remaining time of this process will match with what? Previous process. So when these both bus times are matching, so you leave this process and you schedule this process. And remember, these two processes are again executed for some time amount. Okay, that is till 3 and till 3 both are executed. After some point of time, these 3 process bus time matching. Okay, then you go to what? This process. Why? Because if the bus times are matching, you go according to arrival time, right? And the next, now these 3 processes executed up to some amount of time, like for example 1 till 1 and till 1, and by that after that, okay, these 4 process bus time matching. Then okay, तीनों छोड़ के अपन next अपन P1 पे जा रहे हैं. Why? Because P1 पहले आया था. Bus times are matching, lowest arrival time. Now in the same manner, देखो, in the same manner, listen here. Okay, actually who is having the longest job among all this process? Who is having longest job here? P4. Okay, but actually who is completed first? Okay, that is P1. Actually who is having longest job here? P4. But actually who is completed first? P1. So in the same manner, if the new processes, if the new longer processes keep on coming, listen carefully, if the new longer process keep on coming, अगर बड़ा process नया वाला आते ही जा रहे, okay, they will execute for some amount of time, थोड़ी देर तक तो चलेगा, ये चलेगा. But remember after that, थोड़ी देर चलने के बाद कभी ना कभी उसका bus time क्या होगा? पुराना वाले से मैच होगा. कभी ना कभी उसका बस टाइम पुराना वाले से मैच होगा, तो अपन उसको छोड़ के पुराना वाले पे जा रहे हैं। तो इसका मतलब ओके, अगर नया प्रोसेस आते भी जा रहा है तो थोड़ी देर तो चलेगा, मगर कभी ना कभी उसका बस टाइम पुराना वाले से मैच होगा, तो अपन उसको छोड़ के पुराना वाले पे जाएंगे। तो इसका मतलब ओके, पहले कौन कंप्लीट होगा बताओ, P1 कंप्लीट होगा। नेक्स्ट इसमें आपको कुछ डाउट होता है, 2 डाउट होता है आपको, सर सेम अगर ऐसे ही नया प्रोसेस आते ही जा रहे हैं तो क्या होगा? नेक्स्ट डाउट, राइट। ओके, नया प्रोसेस आते ही जा रहा है, थोड़ी देर चलेगा, अगर ऐसे ही नया प्रोसेस आते ही जा रहे, पहले ये बताओ, अगर ऐसे ही नया प्रोसेस आते ही जा रहे हैं तो कब तक आएगा? If the new process keep on coming like this, till what time they will come? Until the memory is full in the system. Understand carefully. Until the memory is full in the system. So if the memory is full in the system, remember memory is a definite memory. Whatever the memory you design, that is a definite only. You don't have infinite memory. Remember that point. So if the new process keep on coming, okay, remember they will stop coming once the memory is full. Is the point clear for everyone? Right. So अगर नया प्रोसेस आते भी जा रहे हैं तो क्या होगा? कभी ना कभी मेमोरी पक्का फुल होगा। एक बार मेमोरी फुल होते ही नया प्रोसेस आना बंद हो जाएगा। Once the memory is full, the new processes will not come into the system. Then what happens? The old process, the first process which came, that will execute first. Is the point clear for everyone? So that is the reason there is no starvation in the longest remaining time first. Now somebody is still having doubt. Okay, maybe not everyone. Okay, maybe 1% students will have a doubt. What doubt? Sir, I don't understand. ओके, SRTF में भी ऐसे ही हो रहा था ना, SRTF में भी ऐसे हो रहा था, यहाँ पे स्टारवेशन है, LRTF में भी ऐसे ही हो रहा है, देयर इज नो स्टारवेशन, व्हाट इज दिस? रिमेंबर, okay, you may be thinking like this, okay, in the SRTF also, okay, it is happening same, and LRTF also it is same, okay, but there is no starvation here and there is starvation here. Remember, in the SRTF it is not same. SRTF में ऐसा नहीं हो रहा था। SRTF में कैसे हो रहा था? SRTF में कैसे हो रहा था? Listen carefully. In the SRTF, what is happening? छोटा प्रोसेस आया, कंप्लीट करके बाहर चले गया, मेमोरी में नहीं है, कंप्लीट करके चले गया। छोटा प्रोसेस आया, कंप्लीट करके मेमोरी से चले गया, छोटा प्रोसेस आया, कंप्लीट करके मेमोरी से चले गया। इसके कारण क्या होगा? कभी भी मेमोरी फुल नहीं होगा। ओके, अगर ऐसे ही छोटे प्रोसेस आ रहे हैं, कंप्लीट करके जा रहे हैं, कंप्लीट करके आ रहे हैं, जा रहे हैं, तो क्या होगा? बड़ा प्रोसेस विल गो इनटू स्टारवेशन। सो दैट इज द स्टोरी ऑफ व्हाट? SRTF. If the new process keep on coming, they will complete and go. So memory will not be full at all. Okay, and the longer process will go into starvation. So that is the case of SRTF. But remember, in the LRTF में क्या होगा? अगर नया प्रोसेस आते भी जा रहा है तो क्या होगा? अगर नया प्रोसेस आया तो कंप्लीट करके बाहर नहीं जाएगा। अगर बड़ा प्रोसेस आते ही जा रहा है तो कंप्लीट करके बाहर नहीं जाएगा। Okay, if the new process coming, it will not complete and go out of the memory. It will stuck up in the memory only. It is not completing and going out of the memory. Remember, it will there in the memory only. So because of this, that definitely memory will be full at some point of time. Then what happens? Okay, then the new processes will stop coming, and the process, the old process which came first, that will only finish first. Is the point clear? Okay, you have to understand very carefully, then only you will understand these things. Okay, right. So I think I clarified all the points. Okay, right. So next, now among all these algorithms, the answers, listen carefully. Among all these algorithms, practically used algorithm is round robin scheduling. Listen here. So round robin is a practically used scheduling. Okay, make a note of the point. Make a note. Keep it as note. Majority of the operating systems practically implement round robin scheduling. Majority of the operating systems practically implement round robin scheduling. Example you can take Windows, Unix, Linux, okay, iOS and all that. Okay, all the popular operators we use what? Okay, round robin scheduling. So that you should remember, right? So hope the things are clear. Okay, practically we scheduling algorithm we use a round robin algorithm. Okay, right. So understand here. So with this, okay, we have completed CPU scheduling. Okay, this part is completed. So I think hope you enjoyed. So we discussed so many questions and so many algorithms. So these many algorithms we studied. Remember, definitely the question coming in the GATE exam. Okay, among these algorithms, almost from last 5-10 years, we can check every paper. Definitely the question is there. Okay, 2 marks question. Okay, last year GATE also it is there. So okay, practice the questions very carefully. Remember, speed and accuracy both are important. ओके इसका मतलब क्या है, आंसर जल्दी भी आना चाहिए, सही आना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप आराम से कर रहे हैं 5 मिनट के बाद आंसर आ रहा है, कोई मतलब नहीं है. समझो जल्दी आंसर आ गया, ओके, मगर गलत आया तो नो यूज. ओके, सो स्पीड एंड एक्यूरेसी बोथ आर इंपॉर्टेंट. यू हैव टू मेंटेन बोथ साइमल्टेनियसली. स्पीड भी होना चाहिए, एक्यूरेसी भी होना चाहिए. ओके, ये कैसे आएगा, यू हैव टू प्रैक्टिस द क्वेश्चंस, मोर एंड मोर क्वेश्चंस. ओके, और क्वेश्चंस कहाँ मिलेगा, ओके, ओनली वर्कबुक एंड गेट क्वेश्चंस. ओके, गेट प्रीवियस सॉल्व बुक मिलेगा आपको. ओके, राइट. अगर नहीं मिला है तो यू हैव टू बाय. आई थिंक रेगुलर स्टूडेंट्स यू गेट एंड प्राइम स्टूडेंट्स आई थिंक यू मे नीड टू बाय. I don't know, please check in the office. Okay, whether it will be given or not given also I don't have idea, so that management thinks. So please talk to management. And next, now remember, okay, test series आपको practice करना है. Okay, gate questions करना है, workbook करना है. So please don't try to solve unauthenticated questions. So these days the students are having okay, doubts in outside questions. So please don't okay, discuss and waste your time in the unauthenticated questions. I think I told in the previous lectures also. So try to read some genuine information. Okay, genuine source. Okay, genuine data, genuine source. Standard textbook you can refer if you have doubt. Okay, so next we'll discuss the next important point. Okay, about the workbook. So listen to my instructions carefully. After this session, okay, you need to solve workbook, okay, chapters 1, 2, 3. Carefully you have to solve. So in the chapter 1, 2, 3 you have to solve. If you observe the chapter 2, okay, go to this page number 73. Page number 73, the okay, contents are given, operating system contents are given. If you observe the okay, page number 73, this one, hope it is visible. Okay, in the chapter 2, what is there? Okay, just go there. Chapter 2, processes and threads. So remember, you are having processes and threads. Okay, so threads we have not yet studied. So whatever the questions you are having in the threads, so please leave that questions. Okay, you will can solve once I discuss the okay, threads chapter. Okay, so until then, so please don't solve the okay, workbook of okay, threads. Right, okay, threads ka jo bhi questions hai, don't solve. Okay, except threads questions you can solve all that. And next, so for the chapter 1, 2, for the chapter 1, 2, you need to refer Galvin textbook. Okay, you need to refer Galvin textbook. For the chapter 1, 2, you have to study Galvin textbook. Remember, this is not in the GATE syllabus, but better to refer. For chapter 3, CPU scheduling, no need of referring any textbook. Okay, so chapter 1, 2 के लिए क्या पढ़ना है? Galvin पढ़ना है, right? Now, when you are solving the problems, there are so many small topics which I did not discuss. I kept forcefully, like I can say like okay, I wanted to postpone them, okay, because you want to solve, you want to study that and you have to solve it by yourself. So when you are solving the question, some questions you can solve, some questions you cannot solve. So which questions you cannot solve, so please leave them. Please leave them. Don't worry about all that. Just please leave them. Okay. So like for chapter 1, 2, you will have a fork system call is there. I did not discuss. And dual mode operation, kernel mode, user mode is there. I did not discuss. And next, in the CPU scheduling, exponential, expectation, shortest job first. There is an expectation of the burst time. Some formula discussion is there. Okay. I just kept it aside. I will discuss everything when I discuss the workbook. So why I left all those things? I want you to try first. Okay, from standard textbook or anything. Okay, you please try. Okay, try to solve those questions. Right? And remember, from tomorrow onwards, after 2 lectures, in between, remember, okay, because I am trying to replicate same as regular course. Okay, next topic we will enter into synchronization, right? So after synchronization, maybe after 2 hours or 4 hours, okay, I will come back to workbook of these chapters. I am giving sufficient time, 2 days time will be given to you. So after that, okay, when I was discussing the synchronization, in between you will come, okay, workbook discussion of this. Is that clear? So it means you will have a proper combination. You feel like just like a regular class. I am giving the time of 2 days. Okay. So after 2 sessions, I will come back to workbook and discuss these things. I think the points are clear to you. Okay. In case you are having any doubt, so please don't send me any mail. I will not reply. What I said, I will discuss everything in the class only. Okay, because so many students are watching. If everybody sends a mail, I cannot reply. So I will discuss everything in the classroom only. Everything will come to you, right? So that is about workbook. Okay, right. So hope you have enjoyed CPU scheduling. So I gave the best from my side, and remember, try to complete all the questions of CPU scheduling. Whatever the questions you are having in the gate previous solved also. Hope my statement is very clear. Okay, CPU time, IO time, round robin, whatever the questions are there, you try to complete all the questions from the gate previous solved also. Any important questions, tough questions are there, I will discuss maybe in the last session, last 5 hours. If any good question, important questions are there, I will discuss in the last 5 hours. Okay, so आपके तरफ से पूरा complete होना चाहिए, एंड टू एंड कंप्लीट होना चाहिए. समझ में आया? कुछ भी पेंडिंग नहीं है. वर्कबुक पूरा करना है आपको, और गेट प्रीवियस सॉल्व भी करना है, और नोट्स अच्छे से रिवाइज करना है, और इसमें भी क्वेश्चंस अगर डाउट्स है तो फिर से रिपीट करके सॉल्व करो. इज इट क्लियर? सो होप द थिंग्स आर क्लियर. सॉरी, आई एम बिकमिंग सीरियस बिकॉज इमोशन. ओके, सो unfortunately missing all of you, right? So fine. Okay, thank you so much. That is about CPU scheduling. Okay. Next, we are going to move on to the next topic. So that is synchronization. So I am assuming all of you solved the workbook of CPU scheduling and other things. I don't know, like it is coming as a next lecture or it is continuing in the previous lecture. So anyway, okay, so try to solve the workbook. So next, we'll move on to the next topic, synchronization. So try to understand, okay, the topic very clearly. So this is very important and also interesting, okay, topic. Now remember, synchronization is the heart and soul of your operating system. It means what? You cannot imagine the operating system without synchronization, especially with respect to gate examination. Obviously, whatever we talk with respect to gate exam only, right? So in case, just in case, if anybody want to study synchronization, so from the textbook, so I give the textbook name here, just in case, okay, that is a modern operating system by AS Tenenbaum. Modern operating system by AS Tenenbaum. So this is the, okay, good book for the synchronization, right? Now understand carefully, before we enter into synchronization, what is the, okay, what is the definition of the synchronization? What is the English meaning of synchronization? Let's try to understand. Remember, synchronization, I said, okay, that is a important and interesting. Definitely there will be a gate question, okay, almost every year. Sometimes it may be missing, but most of the time, okay, definitely the question will come, right? So what is the English meaning of synchronization? Let's try to understand that first. Let us say, okay, before we enter into synchronization, actual concepts, understand the English meaning of synchronization. So let's say you are having some musical instruments. What are the musical instruments you have? Musical instruments generally, okay, you have, okay, violin, keyboard, guitar, drums, okay, some kind of this, okay, these are the, okay, musical instruments. So if you want to make any music, generally, if you want to make any music, generally what happens, okay, you require what? Generally music director will give you what? A tune. Example, you say, okay, A.R. Rahman, simple example I am taking. So A.R. Rahman will give you the tune. Remember, you need to play all the musical instruments. You need to play all the musical instruments in a proper synchronized manner. You need to play all the musical instruments in a proper synchronized manner by sharing the common resource called tune. Because who will give you the tune? Music director will give the tune, obviously, right? So remember, you need to play all the musical instruments in a proper synchronized manner by sharing the common resource called tune, because tune is commonly shared between all the musical instruments. मतलब tune के हिसाब से आपको बजाना चाहिए, so then you will get what? Music. Let us say you don't have proper synchronization. So tune is something and you are simply playing like that. Tune कुछ और है, आप ऐसे ही बजाते जा रहे हैं. Okay, somebody playing guitar, somebody playing drums, somebody playing violin. So if you keep on playing like that, what happens? You get noise. If you don't have proper synchronization, if you keep on playing like that, you get what? Noise. Remember, okay, the same thing. If all the musical instruments are played, okay, in a proper synchronized manner, then you get what? Music, by sharing common resource called tune. Remember, if you don't have a proper synchronization, then what do you get? What? Okay, noise. Okay, tune कुछ और है, आप ऐसे ही कुछ बजा रहे हैं, तो क्या होगा? Noise आएगा. Remember, in the same manner, our synchronization is with respect to processes. In the same manner, our synchronization is with respect to what? Processes. It means what? Whenever you are having common shared resource, or whenever you are having common shared data between the processes, we require a proper synchronization. Whenever you are having common shared data, common shared resource between the processes, we require proper synchronization. If you don't have proper synchronization, then what happens? Okay, you get noise. So, यहाँ पे noise मतलब क्या है? यहाँ पे noise मतलब क्या है? Wrong result, incorrect result, inappropriate result. If you are having proper synchronization between the process while sharing the common resources, common variables, then you get what? Music. मतलब यहाँ पे म्यूजिक मतलब क्या होता है? यहाँ पे म्यूजिक मतलब क्या होता है? ओके, करेक्ट रिजल्ट, गुड रिजल्ट, अप्रोप्रिएट रिजल्ट. Is that clear? Right. So now understand here. So next, before we discuss the entire things. Next, just note down some points first. Processes are divided into two types. Processes. Okay, that is with respect to synchronization. Processes are divided into two types. Note down, make a note. Okay, one is cooperative processes and next is independent processes. Note down, make a note. Processes are categorized in two types. One is the cooperative processes and second one is what? Independent processes. Now, note down, next line में लिखो, next line यहाँ पे लिखो, continuation में next line. Okay, the execution of one process, यहाँ पे लिख रहा हूँ, the execution of one process affects, और यहाँ पे लिख रहा हूँ, okay, affects are affected by other process. Okay, execution of one process affects or affected by other process, then those processes are said to be cooperative processes. Execution of one process affects or affected by other process, then those processes are said to be cooperative process. Otherwise, note down, continuation, otherwise they are said to be independent processes. Note down properly. Otherwise, they are said to be independent processes. Okay, that's all. Now, understand what is the meaning of that. Execution of one process affects or affected by other process. Listen carefully, first statement. Execution of one process affects or affected by other process, then they are said to be what? Cooperative process. It means what? Let's say you are having process P1 here and process P2 here. You are having process P1 and process P2 here. Execution of P1 is affecting the P2 or affected by P2. Listen carefully. Execution of P1 is affecting the P2 or affected by P2. So then these two processes are said to be what? Cooperative processes. These two processes are said to be cooperative process. Okay. Now listen here. Why this kind of affection will be there? मतलब P1 का एग्जीक्यूशन P2 को इफेक्ट कर रहा है और ओके P2 का एग्जीक्यूशन P1 को इफेक्ट कर रहा है. सो इन दैट केस दे आर सेड टू बी व्हाट? कोऑपरेटिव प्रोसेस. व्हाई यू हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ affection? If you logically observe why that kind of affection will be there, remember that kind of affection will be there when you are having common shared resource, when you are having common shared data. Is that clear? So, if you are having that kind of affection, they are said to be what? Cooperative process. Otherwise they are said to be what? Independent process. क्या लिखे थे? Independent process. इसका मतलब क्या है? Let's say you are having process P1 here and you are having process P2 here. So, P1 का execution P2 को affect नहीं कर रहा है और P2 का execution P1 को affect नहीं कर रहा है. So, in that case, this process said to be what? Independent process. Yes or no? Right? So, इसका मतलब इसका इफेक्शन इसको नहीं हो रहा है, इसका इफेक्शन इसको नहीं हो रहा है, इंडिपेंडेंट प्रोसेस. इसका मतलब क्या है? दोनों के बीच में कोई शेयर वेरिएबल, शेयर रिसोर्स, शेयर डेटा कुछ भी नहीं है. Now, remember, if you want to implement the synchronization, tell me, you can guess easily. If you want to implement the synchronization, the first step, the processes must be cooperative processes. If you want to implement synchronization, the first step, the processes must be cooperative process. Remember, if you are having independent processes, do you require any synchronization? No. Because when you don't have any shared resource, shared data, you don't require any synchronization. So, remember, there should be what? Cooperative process, then only you can implement synchronization. Is that clear? So, I am repeating, okay, in order to implement synchronization, the processes must be cooperative processes. Is that clear? So, I think this is clear. Next, now the entire synchronization, okay, I am going to discuss in the 3 different steps. Note down properly, entire synchronization I discuss in the 3 different steps. Note down, keep the heading understanding synchronization. Understanding synchronization. Note down. So, synchronization I will teach you in the 3 different steps. The first step I will teach you the problems arises not having synchronization between the processes okay, the problems arises not having synchronization between the processes. So, that is the first step we are going to discuss. Understand here, problems arises not having synchronization between the process. Okay, so it means what problems you will get if you don't have a proper synchronization. अगर प्रोसेस के बीच में प्रॉपर सिंक्रोनाइजेशन नहीं है तो क्या प्रॉब्लम्स आएगा, दैट आई विल डिस्कस इन द फर्स्ट स्टेप. एंड द सेकंड स्टेप आई विल डिस्कस, ओके, नोट डाउन the conditions to be followed, to achieve synchronization. Okay, the conditions to be followed to achieve synchronization. Note down, copy karo. Okay, so in the second step I will discuss what conditions you have to follow to achieve synchronization. So, that I will discuss in the second step. And the third step I will discuss the solutions. So, what are the various solutions available? Okay, solutions include wrong solution and also right solution. Okay, both we will discuss. So, remember, in the wrong solution you will simply understand why the solution is wrong, and in the right solution you will simply understand why the solution is right. Okay, right. So, these are the 3 different steps. Okay, I am going to discuss the synchronization. So, I am repeating. First step में मैं क्या बताऊंगा? In the first step I will show you what problems will arise if we don't have proper synchronization. अगर synchro process के बीच में synchronization नहीं है तो क्या problems आएगा? Right? So, that I will discuss in the first step. So, इसका मतलब आपको मालूम हो जाएगा अगर synchronization नहीं है तो ये problems आएगा. That you will understand. Second step I will say conditions to be followed to achieve synchronization. What conditions you have to follow to achieve synchronization. So, that I will tell you in the second step. And the third step we will discuss various solutions. Remember, solutions we will discuss the both wrong solution and right solution. In the wrong solution you simply prove why the solution is wrong, and in the right solution we will prove that why the solution is right. Okay, or correct. Okay. So, these are the 3 steps we are going to study. Okay, right. Remember, when I am discussing all this, I am going to solve around 20-25 gate questions in the classroom only. Is that clear? All the previous gate questions, whatever you have, okay, similar questions and good questions, okay, 20-25 questions I will solve in the classroom only. Right. Okay, so let's begin with the step number 1. So keep the heading step number 1, that is problems arises. Keep the heading step number 1, that is problems arises not having synchronization between the processes. Problems arises not having synchronization between the process. That is the first step. Now remember, as part of the step number 1, the first concept we will discuss is the producer consumer problem. Okay, listen carefully. The first concept is study producer consumer problem. So what is the meaning of producer consumer? Okay, you will understand here. So copy this, copy the code properly. Please make the proper notes. So global variable, just note down this integer count equal to 0. If anything is not clear, then just leave that and copy the next line, because you can copy when I am explaining. I think board is not visible to you. I understand. I'll give you the time. Don't worry. Okay, so just copy this. Okay, remember this is integer item p, while true, while count equal to n semicolon, buffer of in equal to item p, in equal to in plus 1 mod n, count equal to count plus 1. So here 3 instructions: load the m of count value into register, increment the register value, store the incremented register value back into count. And the next, okay, consumer void. So please copy. If anything is not understandable, just leave that. If anything is not clear, just leave that. So don't take any tension. I'll discuss everything. You can pause my video and copy properly. Right. So, okay, now I am assuming, okay, all of you copied the notes, okay. So, if anybody is still not copied, you can pause my video and copy. Right. So, what is the meaning of producer consumer and what we are going to do in this and what we are going to discuss in this, let us try to understand all that. Remember, in the producer and consumer, we are having two processes, producer process and consumer process. Listen carefully. In the producer and consumer, we are having two processes, producer process and consumer process. Okay, now what the behavior of the processes is, producer will keep on producing the items into the buffer and consumer will keep on consuming the items from the buffer. I will tell you everything, just follow carefully. So, the behavior of the processes is, producer will keep on producing the items into buffer and consumer will keep on consuming the items from the buffer. Remember, buffer is a common shared resource between producer and consumer. It is just like an array, okay, right? Just like an array. Now, buffer is having n slots. Look at here, n equal to 8 here, n equal to 8. Buffer is having n slots, that is 0 to n minus 1. Buffer is having n slots, that is 0 to n minus 1. Now, remember, okay, what we are trying to do here is, we are trying to provide synchronization to the processes. Now, remember, while providing synchronization, we are using some variables, okay, like count variable, in variable and out variable. Now, okay, what is the meaning of this in variable? Note down, keep the heading in variable. Okay. Now, understand here, in is a variable used by the producer. Note down, in is a variable used by producer to identify next empty slot in the buffer. Note down, in is a variable used by producer to identify next empty slot in the buffer. Okay, because when the producer is keep on producing the item in the buffer, because producer should know where is the next empty slot here. When you are having n slot here, what is the next empty slot here? Buffer is already having 3 items, like example x, y, z. The next empty slot is what here? 3. So, in is pointing to what? 3 here, because that is the next empty slot in the buffer. Okay. And next, what is the meaning of out variable? No doubt. Out is a variable. Out is a variable used by the consumer. Out is a variable used by the consumer to identify from where it has to consume the item. To identify from where it has to consume the item. So, it means what? Oh, kahan se consume karna hai? So, that is identified by what? Okay, out variable. Consumer kahan se item ko lena hai? That is identified by the out variable. So, remember out is now pointing to what? 0 here. So, it means first it will consume item 0. And next afterwards it will consume item 1. Okay, next item 2. Is that clear? So, that is the purpose of out variable, to identify from where it has to consume the item. And next you are having count variable. Okay, remember count is a variable used by both producer and consumer. Count is a variable used by both producer and consumer to identify number of items present in the buffer at any point of time. No doubt. Count is a variable used by both producer and consumer to identify number of items present in the buffer, at any point of time. Okay. So, how many items are present in the buffer at any point of time? That is identified by the count variable. Is that clear? So, that is the purpose of the count variable. Remember, in is used by only producer, out is used by only consumer, but count is used by both producer and consumer. इसका मतलब क्या है? Count is what? A shared variable. Count is a shared variable. So, if you observe this entire story, now tell me, what are the shared resources? Okay, shared resources. No doubt. Copy karo. Shared resources. What are the shared resources? The first one is count variable. First one, count variable. Second one is what? Buffer. No doubt. First one is count variable, and second one is what? Buffer. So, understand here what we are trying to do. मैं repeat कर रहा हूँ फिर से. What we are trying to do here? We are having producer. Producer will keep on producing the items into buffer, and consumer will keep on consuming the items from the buffer, and both are using the common shared buffer and common shared variable count. So, we are trying to provide synchronization to the producer and consumer to access the common shared buffer. We are trying to provide synchronization to the producer and consumer to access the common shared buffer. Is that clear? Right. Now, what are the shared resources here? Shared resources is count variable and buffer. Okay. So, these are the two shared resources here. So, whenever you are having shared resources, then these processes are said to be cooperative processes. They are said to be cooperative processes. Remember, whenever you are having cooperative process, what is required? Synchronization is required. Is that clear? Right. So, these two processes are said to be cooperative process. Okay. When you are having cooperative process, we require proper synchronization. Okay. Next. Now, understand here, when you are trying to provide synchronization between producer and consumer, we need to follow two important conditions. Between producer and consumer, आप guess करना भी चाहिए. So, while providing synchronization between producer and consumer, we need to follow two important conditions. So, two conditions to be followed. No doubt. Two conditions to be followed. So, what are the two conditions to be followed? Okay, आप guess कर सकते हैं. Understand here, producer is keep on producing the items into the buffer. Producer is keep on producing the items into the buffer. Remember, the producer can produce the item into the buffer only when there is some empty slot present. Producer can keep on producing the item in the buffer only when there is some empty slot present in the buffer. It means what? If the buffer is full, if the buffer is full, producer is not allowed to produce the item into the buffer. Okay, if the buffer is full, producer is not allowed to produce the item into the buffer. Is the point clear? Right. So understand here. Okay, note down. First condition लिखो अच्छे से. If the buffer is full, producer is not allowed to produce the item into the buffer. Producer is not allowed to produce the item into the buffer. Okay, right. So that's the first condition. Next, now the second condition you can easily guess. Second condition, okay, what is the second condition? Guess कर सकते हैं. Consumer के लिए क्या condition होगा? Okay, when the buffer is empty. Very good. So listen here. So consumer can consume the item from the buffer only when there is item present in the buffer. Okay, so if the buffer is empty, consumer is not allowed to consume the item from the buffer. So मतलब ये दोनों कंडीशन तो बेसिक कंडीशंस है, आपको पक्का फॉलो करना पड़ेगा. नो डाउट. सेकंड कंडीशन, इफ द बफर इज एम्प्टी, नो डाउट, इफ द बफर इज एम्प्टी, कंज्यूमर इज not allowed to consume the item from the buffer. Consumer is not allowed to consume the item from the buffer. Okay, very good. So these two conditions you have to follow, right? And next, okay, next we are going to discuss the code here. Now remember, this is the code given to you to synchronize the producer and consumer to access the common shared variable and common shared resource buffer. So this is the code of the producer process, and this is the code of the consumer process. That's the code of the consumer process. So it means what? If the producer wants to produce the item, it will make use of this code. If the consumer wants to consume the item, okay, it will make use of this code. Listen carefully. Remember, initial value of the count. Look at here, count is a global variable. So ऊपर declare किया count is a global variable because count is a shared variable. So इसलिए okay, initial value ऊपर declare किया. Now look at here, int count equal to 0. Okay, integer count equal to 0. Remember, initially count value will be what? 0 only, because initially buffer will be empty. Initially, obviously, okay, initially, okay, first time, fresh thing, okay, when you start this process, initially buffer will be empty. So when the buffer is empty, so इसलिए count value क्या है बताओ? Initial value 0 है. थोड़ा सोच के बताओ, important point, इसी के point, छोटा point के ऊपर gate question था. Okay, initially first which one should execute? Okay, producer and consumer both are there. Which one should execute first? First कौन execute होना चाहिए बताओ? पक्का प्रोड्यूसर ही पहले एग्जीक्यूट होना चाहिए, क्योंकि इनिशियली बफर एम्प्टी रहेगा. एम्प्टी बफर है तो आप कंज्यूमर अगर आप चला रहे हो तो क्या होगा? दैट इज अ रॉन्ग सॉल्यूशन होगा, रॉन्ग इंप्लीमेंटेशन होगा. बफर में कुछ भी एम्प्टी आइटम नहीं है, आप ओके कंज्यूमर को आप पहले चला रहे हो. ओके, दैट इज अ रॉन्ग इंप्लीमेंटेशन. अगर आप कोड ऐसा लिख रहे हैं, ओके, फर्स्ट टाइम बफर इज एम्प्टी और कंज्यूमर पहले एग्जीक्यूट हो रहा है, सो दैट इज अ रॉन्ग इंप्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ द प्रोड्यूसर कंज्यूमर. Okay, based on this small point, there was a gate question. I think 2019 or 2020 only. 2020 only. Okay, I think 2019. Okay, right. So understand here. Okay, come back to the code here. I'll just go to the code what is given here, and later I'll discuss everything. Okay, and I will show you the analysis what we are trying to do. हम लोग करना क्या चाह रहे हैं इसमें, वो अपन डिस्कस करेंगे अच्छे से. Right. So listen here. This is the code of the producer. Void producer void. Void means you are not passing any variable. And next, integer item p, you are declaring some item which you want to produce. Produce करने के लिए item declare कर रहे हैं. While true is a infinite condition. Okay, it means what? It's keep on executing. Okay, मतलब जब schedule हो गया तो ये चलेगा. Okay, now remember चलेगा तो सही, but based on this condition. What is this condition here? Look at carefully. While count equal to n. Listen here. While count equal to n, the answer सुनो अच्छे से. While count equal to n, okay, count will tell you what? Total number of items present in the buffer at any point of time. N will tell you what? Total slots in the buffer. Total slots in the buffer. So total slots in the buffer is what? 8. अगर count भी अगर 8 है, count is equal to n है, तो इसका मतलब क्या होता है? buffer is full. Buffer is full. Now remember, buffer अगर full है तो यहाँ पे क्या है बताओ, count equal to n है तो यहाँ पे सेमी कॉलन दिया गया, सेमी कॉलन, while को सेमी कॉलन लगाया. Listen carefully. अगर आप while सेमी कॉलन पढ़ा है okay in the C language, then that is fine. Okay, so if you are not studied, okay, now understand what's the meaning of while semicolon. So कुछ लोग सोच रहे हैं सर while में semicolon है या नहीं है, C language में while semicolon है. Remember, C language में while semicolon है. Okay, अगर आप नहीं पढ़े तो बात अलग है. Exactly है, right? C language में while semicolon है. Now understand here. So while semicolon का मतलब क्या होता है? What is the meaning of that while semicolon? While semicolon means, okay, listen carefully. If the condition is true, if this condition is true, then the process will stop here and it will keep on rotating in the while loop for the condition to become false. For the condition to become false. Okay, remember, अगर condition true है तो क्या होगा, इसी में घूमता रहेगा. Okay, condition true है तो इसका मतलब क्या है बताओ, buffer full है. If the buffer is full, the producer will stop here and keep on executing only this one. Okay, is it true? Okay, it means buffer full है. So keep on again execute. Again check, count equal to n true, then again buffer still full. So then keep on execute. So again check, count equal to n true. Okay, again buffer is full. So keep on execute. So remember, if this condition is false, if this condition is false, it means what? Buffer is not full. Buffer is not full. So if the buffer is not full, then you execute what? Next statement. So if the buffer is not full, then you can execute comfortably the next statement. So is everything is clear for while semicolon is clear for everyone? Now, okay, I am doubting. Somebody is still not clear. Okay, मैं repeat कर रहा हूँ फिर से. अगर ये condition, see, ये normal while loop को उल्टा है. See, normal while loop C language में क्या करते? नॉर्मल सी लैंग्वेज वैल्यू में क्या करते हैं, अगर ट्रू है तो अपन कंटिन्यू करते, नॉर्मल वैल्यू. ओके, ट्रू कंडीशन है तो अपन कंटिन्यू करते. सो यहाँ पे क्या है, उल्टा रहेगा. ओके, ट्रू कंडीशन है तो आप यहाँ पे रुक जाओगे, इसी में घूमता रहेगा. अगर ये कंडीशन फॉल्स है तो आप ये स्टेटमेंट चलाओगे, मतलब कंटिन्यू करोगे. राइट. सो इफ एनीबॉडी इज हैविंग डाउट, ओके, सम क्वेश्चन मार्क फेसेस, ओके, जस्ट नोट डाउन दिस प्रोग्राम. ओके, स्मॉल प्रोग्राम आई एम राइटिंग हियर. So I am making the box. Okay, so small C language program. So main, note down, integer x equal to 5 while x plus plus. I am assuming all of you know post increment, pre increment and everything. While x plus plus less than or equal to 7 semicolon. printf %d x. Okay, so this is buffer. Note down the question. You can copy this in the rough page and okay, solve this. Tell me what is the output of this. Simple C language program है, सिर्फ 2 लाइन का प्रोग्राम है. Okay, main integer x equal to 5 while x plus plus less than or equal to 7. Less than or equal to 7, x plus plus, post increment, all of you know post increment, p increment. Okay, so printf %d x. Okay, so सिर्फ 3 लाइन का प्रोग्राम है, सोच के बताओ अच्छे से क्या आउटपुट होगा. अच्छे से सोचना है. ओके, मैं जब आंसर बताने के बाद फिर से नहीं सोचना अरे ये भी हो सकता है, ऐसा नहीं है. ओके, राइट. Pause my video if you are still thinking. Okay, pause my video. Right now, let's see what is the right answer of this. Right answer is okay. The right answer of this program. Okay, if you execute, आप चला के देख सकते. Right answer of this program is 8 नहीं है. Okay, 8 नहीं है. Okay, right answer is okay 9. Is that clear? Okay. So I think most of you, okay, many people got 8 nahi hai. So right answer is what? 9. So how 9 is the right answer? Okay, so just check it out. So okay, whenever I am giving the question, so you have to think very carefully, guys. Okay, because if it is a simple question, why I will ask? Okay, I don't waste your time. Okay, just think, some trick will be there, small trick. Okay, nothing okay tough or anything. So initial value x equal to 5 hai. Listen carefully. Now I am repeating. Okay, while semicolon means if the condition is true, the process will stop here and again it keep on rotating only in the while loop. Okay, execute करो, check करेगा, okay true है तो फिर से घूमेगा, check करेगा, फिर से true है तो okay इसमें घूमेगा. Now understand here, initial value of x is 5, x plus post increment है, post increment. So initially किससे compare करेगा? 5 less than or equal to 7, true or false? Okay, 5 less than or equal to 7, true or false? True है तो क्या होगा? इसी में घूमेगा, इसके बाद क्या होगा? 6 होगा, because it is a post increment. Now again you check with the 6 less than or equal to 7, true or false? True. Okay, if it is true, okay, it will rotate in this only, but after this it will become what? 7. इसके बाद क्या होगा? 7, because post increment. Now you compare with the 7 less than or equal to 7 less than or equal to 7, true or false? True again. So again true है तो इसी में घूमेगा, इसके बाद क्या होगा? 8 होगा. Next, now you compare with the 8 less than or equal to 7, true or false? False. Okay, it will come out of the while loop, but remember उसके बाद क्या होगा? 9 होगा. Okay, क्योंकि ये post increment है. 8 से कंपेयर करें तो false होगा, false होने के बाद इससे बाहर आ जाएगा, मगर उसके बाद ये 9 होगा. Okay, क्योंकि वो post increment है, Okay, so I think okay, now it is clear. So what is the meaning of while semicolon? Okay, so right answer is 9. So while semicolon clear hai? Okay. So next, in case if I teach you the data structures, okay, if I come up with the data structures, then okay, we'll discuss all varieties of the questions. Okay, post increment, pre increment, everything. Okay, I will discuss in the more in detail. Okay, about all varieties of the questions. Okay, if I come for the data structure. So don't worry, anyone can come. Okay, so the multiple teachers are available. So all are best. Okay, right. So come back to this. Okay, so understand here the next. Okay, come back to this. Okay, while semicolon is clear, right. So now if this condition is false, it means what? Buffer full nahi hai. So then you come out of this and execute this. Okay, now look at here. So take this item and place in the buffer of in. Okay, and next, okay, look at here. You are taking this item P, whatever you declared, and placing in the buffer of in. So in is point into what? Next empty slot. So you simply place the item in the buffer. And after that, you are incrementing in value in equal to in plus 1 mod n. Listen carefully. You are incrementing in value in equal to in plus 1 mod n. So why you are saying in equal to in plus 1 mod n? Why I am using mod operation? Look at here. So let's say you already place the item here. Okay, after that in should point to what? 4. Now 4 के बाद in value क्या होना? 5 के बाद 6 के बाद 7 के बाद in value वापस क्या होना चाहिए बताओ? Okay, 0 होना चाहिए. 7 के बाद in value क्या होना चाहिए? 0 होना चाहिए. अगर ऐसा 0 to 7, if you want to repeat, definitely you need to make use of what? Mod operation. Is the point clear? Okay, 7 के बाद in value 0 होना चाहिए. अगर ऐसा होना है तो आपको mod operation यूज करना पड़ेगा. If you are having doubt, I think okay, just listen here. Let's say imagine in value is 7. Now tell me in value अगर 7 है तो 7 plus 1 क्या होगा? 8. So 8 mod n value कितना है? n value 8 है. So 8 mod 8 is 0 or what? 8 mod is what? 0. So it means what? देखो क्या हो रहा है? in value 7 के बाद क्या हो रहा है? वापस 0 हो रहा है. Okay, because 8 mod 8 is 0. Okay, so if you want to repeat the values from 0 to 7, you have to make use of what? Okay, mod operation. Next, after that, you are incrementing count value. Listen here, count equal to count plus 1. Now, why you are incrementing count value? Count equal to count plus 1. Okay, so actually I should write okay braces for this only. Okay, I am talking about only count, so that is the reason. Okay, small printing mistake. You can change in the notes. Okay, only this one. Okay, so here also. Okay, right. Okay, so next count equal to count plus 1. Now tell me count equal to count plus 1. Okay, obviously you have placed the item in the buffer and after that you are increment the count value, count equal to count plus 1. So count equal to count plus 1 will execute in the 3 instructions. Count equal to count plus 1 will execute in the 3 instructions. Like load the count value into register. Count equal to count plus 1 will execute in the 3 instructions. We are loading the count value into register, and second you are incrementing the register value. You are incrementing register value, And next third instruction, okay, we are storing the register value back into count variable, okay. So count equal to count plus 1 will execute in the 3 instructions. Okay, actually you will study all this in the CO, computer organization. If you already studied CO, you will understand. So count equal to count plus 1 will execute in 3 instructions. So first, okay, we are going to load the count value into register. M of count लिखा है, M मतलब क्या है, memory location, okay, simple. Okay, we are going to load the count value into register RP. RP लिखा है, RP मतलब क्या है, simple, register for the producer. इसका मतलब क्या है, remember every process will have its own register. Every process will have its own register. Okay, right. So that is the reason. So we are loading the count value into register and incrementing the register value, and then okay, we are storing the register value back into count. So count equal to count plus 1 will execute in these 3 different instructions: loading, incrementing, and then storing. Is that clear? So this is how, okay, the count equal to count plus 1 will execute. So this is the code of the producer process. Okay, and next, so this is the code of the consumer process. I will explain this also. Just listen here. Now you can understand okay, easily. Now void consumer void. Void means you are not passing any variable. Okay, and next integer item C. We are going to, okay, consume the item in the item C here. Okay, I am declaring item C. So while true is a infinite condition. Okay, infinite condition means whenever you schedule, okay, it will execute, but based on the next statement only. अगर ये condition true है तो यहीं पे रुक जाएगा, condition false है तो continue होगा. So while count equal to 0, look at here. While count equal to 0, you are having again semicolon there. So while count equal to 0, you are having semicolon. इसका मतलब क्या है? If the count is 0, it means what? Buffer is empty. If the buffer is empty, consumer is allowed or not allowed? Not allowed. So if the condition is true, the consumer will stop here, keep on rotating only in the while loop, and if the condition is false, it will execute what? Next statement. If the condition is false, it means what? Buffer empty nahi hai. So then you can execute the next statement. Next, what you are doing here? Buffer of out. You are consuming the item, buffer of out, and storing in the item C. And after that, you are incrementing out value, out equal to out plus 1 mod n. Okay, so why you are using the mod operation here? So same thing, to repeat the values from 0 to 7. Okay, and next after that, you are decrementing the count value. So count equal to count plus 1. Okay, understand here. So count equal to count minus 1. Okay, because we consumed one value, एक item अपन buffer से ले लिया, तो obviously क्या करना चाहिए? Count equal to count minus 1. Count को decrement करना चाहिए. So same thing, count equal to count minus 1 will also, okay, execute in the 3 instructions. Count equal to count minus 1 will also execute in 3 instructions. Loading the count value into register RC. Loading the count value into register RC. So okay, first RC मतलब क्या है? Register for consumer. Remember, every process will have its own registers. Every process will have its own register. So loading the count value into register, and the next decrementing the register value, and next we are storing the decremented register value back into count. Okay, so count equal to count minus 1 will execute in 3 instructions: loading, decrementing, and then storing. Okay, so okay, you need to remember that. Okay, decrementation instructions and incrementation instructions. So you will understand all that in the CO, computer organization में पूरा पढ़ते in detail इसके बारे में. Okay, टेंशन लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. Right. So count equal to count minus 5, तो इसका मतलब 3 instructions होगा इसके अंदर, और count equal count plus 1 है, इसके अंदर अभी 3 instructions होगा. Right. So that you should remember. So this is the code of the producer and that's the code of consumer. If the producer wants to produce the item, it will make use of this code. If the consumer wants to consume the item, it will make use of this code. Okay. So now what we are trying to show here, let's try to understand here. हम लोग करना क्या चाह रहे हैं? Let us do the analysis. Okay. So इतना बड़ा कोड तो है, मगर हम लोग करना क्या चाह रहे हैं? Okay. क्या बताना चाह रहे हैं इसमें? Okay. Let's try to understand. So let us do the analysis. Now before we discuss the analysis, note down some definition. So keep the heading universal assumption. Universal assumption. Note down universal assumption. So what is the meaning of universal assumption? Note down universal assumption. Note down. The running process can get preempted. Running process can get preempted at any point of time. Running process can get preempted at any point of time after completion of current instruction. After completion of a current instruction. Okay. Understand here? So, that is the universal assumption. Remember, this is followed in the entire synchronization, and of course, this is followed in the entire computer system. Okay. So, in the entire system, okay, in other subjects also, maybe in the CU also, we follow the same thing. What is the meaning of this running process? Okay, इसका मतलब क्या है? क्या लिखे थे? Running process can get preempted at any point of time after completion of the current instruction. इसका मतलब क्या है? करंट इंस्ट्रक्शन के बाद रनिंग प्रोसेस कभी भी प्रीएम्प्ट हो सकता है. ओके, सो कैसे? ओके, लुक एट हियर. इसका मतलब जब आप ये इंस्ट्रक्शंस को चला रहे हैं, लिसन केयरफुली, जब आप ये इंस्ट्रक्शन चला रहे हैं तो रनिंग प्रोसेस यहाँ पे प्रीएम्प्ट हो सकता है, रनिंग प्रोसेस यहाँ पे प्रीएम्प्ट हो सकता है. ओके, रनिंग प्रोसेस कैन गेट प्रीएम्प्टेड आफ्टर कंप्लीशन ऑफ द करंट इंस्ट्रक्शन. मतलब करंट इंस्ट्रक्शन होने के बाद ही प्रीएम्प्ट होगा, बीच में प्रीएम्प्शन नहीं होगा. Okay, that is how the system architecture is designed. Okay, it means what? Okay, I am repeating. Okay, preemption यहाँ पे हो सकता है, ये इंस्ट्रक्शन के बाद preemption हो सकता है, ये इंस्ट्रक्शन के बाद preemption हो सकता है, मगर okay, ये इंस्ट्रक्शन एग्जीक्यूट होते समय में बीच में यहाँ पे preemption नहीं होगा, ऐसा preemption नहीं होगा. Is that clear? Okay, why? Because remember, okay, if you in between while executing the instruction, in between if you preempt, so how you are going to update the program counter? फर्स्ट क्लास याद है, प्रोग्राम काउंटर कंटेन्स एड्रेस ऑफ द नेक्स्ट इंस्ट्रक्शन टू बी एग्जीक्यूटेड. सो या तो इसका इंस्ट्रक्शन का एड्रेस स्टोर करना है या तो इसका करना है, कंफ्यूजन होगा. तो इसलिए सिस्टम आर्किटेक्चर ऐसा बनाया गया, रनिंग प्रोसेस प्रीएम्प्ट तभी हो सकता है ओके आफ्टर कंप्लीशन ऑफ द करंट इंस्ट्रक्शन. करंट इंस्ट्रक्शन होने के बाद ही प्रीएम्प्ट हो सकता है. सी फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल प्रीएम्प्शन क्यों होगा? प्रीएम्प्शन क्यों होगा? व्हाई? बिकॉज रिमेंबर we are using practically which scheduling algorithm we are using? Round robin algorithm we are using. Round robin. I told you already we are using round robin. Okay, because we want multitasking. Okay, generally whatever the computer you use, okay, we all use what? Multitasking environment. मल्टीटास्किंग का मतलब क्या होता है? ओके, लेट्स से यू आर हैविंग गेम चला रहा है, ओके, कोई गाना चला रहा है, ओके, कोई ओके मे बी सम ओके मूवी देख रहा है, ओके, कोई वर्ड पैड चला रहा है, वर्ड में कुछ लिख रहा है, कोई सी लैंग्वेज प्रोग्राम चला रहा है, कोई जीमेल चला रहा है. तो यू आर डूइंग मल्टीपल टास्क. इज दैट क्लियर? सो इट मींस व्हाट इज हैपनिंग? ओके, मल्टीपल जॉब्स आर शेयरिंग द सीपीयू इन द टाइम शेयरिंग मोड. तो इसका मतलब जीमेल को चलाया 2 नैनोसेकंड, प्रीएम्प्ट किया. मूवी चलाया 2 नैनोसेकंड्स, प्रीएम्प्ट किया. गाना चलाया 2 नैनोसेकंड्स, प्रीएम्प्ट किया. तो इसका मतलब रनिंग प्रोसेस कभी भी प्रीएम्प्ट हो सकता है आफ्टर कंप्लीशन ऑफ द करंट इंस्ट्रक्शन. ये प्रीएम्प्शन क्यों होगा? ये प्रीएम्प्शन क्यों होगा? क्योंकि अपन राउंड रॉबिन यूज कर रहे हैं. राउंड रॉबिन यूज करें तो पक्का वो प्रीएम्प्टिव शेड्यूलिंग है, क्योंकि टाइम क्वांटम एक्सपायर होते ही प्रोसेस रनिंग स्टेट में से रेडी स्टेट में आएगा. फिर ये प्रीएम्प्शन के लिए राउंड रॉबिन चाहिए. अगर राउंड रॉबिन प्रीएम्प्शन है तो ऑब्वियसली प्रीएम्प्शन होगा. फिर ये राउंड रॉबिन ही क्यों यूज करते? क्योंकि प्रैक्टिकली अपने को मल्टीटास्किंग चाहिए. अगर आपको मल्टीटास्किंग चाहिए तो पक्का आपको क्या चाहिए? राउंड रॉबिन चाहिए. सो अगर आप राउंड रॉबिन हो रहा है सिस्टम के अंदर तो पक्का क्या होगा? डेफिनेटली प्रीएम्प्शन होगा ही होगा. टाइम क्वांटम एक्सपायर होते ही प्रीएम्प्शन होगा प्रोसेस से. ओके, दैट यू शुड रिमेंबर. ओके, I am repeating, running process can get preempted after completion of the current instruction. ये आपको याद रखना है, right? So that you should remember. Next, now what we are going to do is we are going to do the analysis. Listen carefully. Okay, next I am going to analysis. In the analysis, what I want to do is पहले सुनो मैं क्या करना चाह रहा हूँ. What I want to do is you observe the values here. Now according to present scenario in the buffer, count value कितना है बताओ? 3. बिकॉज काउंट में कितना आइटम्स है? 3 आइटम्स है. काउंट वैल्यू 3 बिकॉज इन द काउंट वी आर हैविंग 3 आइटम्स प्रेजेंट. सो दैट इज द रीजन काउंट वैल्यू 3 है. सो नाउ रिमेंबर Okay, now the count value is 3. Count value is 3. What I will do is I will produce one item into buffer. I will consume one item from the buffer. Listen carefully what I am saying. अभी count value क्या है? 3 है. I will produce one item into buffer. I will consume one item from the buffer. So count value क्या होना चाहिए? What should be the count value after this? क्या होना चाहिए? उतना क्या सोच रहा है? काउंट वैल्यू क्या होना चाहिए? 3 होना चाहिए. क्या बोला मैं? एक आइटम प्रोड्यूस करूंगा, एक आइटम कंज्यूम करूंगा, तो काउंट वैल्यू क्या होना चाहिए? 3 होना चाहिए, राइट? सो सिंपल. सो नाउ व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन? लिसन केयरफुली. नाउ जस्ट लेट अस डू द एनालिसिस. ओके, द आंसर सुनो अच्छे से. नाउ void producer void, आई एम प्रोड्यूसिंग द आइटम इनटू बफर. प्रोड्यूसर को चला रहा हूं. void producer void into item p. So I am declaring some item p, some value, okay, just like a. While true is a infinite condition, keep on executing whenever it is scheduled. And next, while count equal to n. Now tell me, count equal to n, true or false? According to present scenario, count value 3, n value क्या है बताओ? 8. So that is false. If it is false, मतलब buffer full नहीं है, तो you can continue. So you are taking this item, okay, and placing in the buffer of in. So item p, placing in the buffer of in. In is pointing to what? 3. So I am producing the item in the buffer. So that is a. And the next, after this, in equal to in plus 1 mod n. So what is the in value here? 3. So that is 3 plus 1, 4 mod 8, that is 4. So in value 8 है, so 4 mod 8 is 4. So in value क्या होगा? 4 होगा. Now after this, listen carefully. Count equal to count plus 1 you have to execute. Remember, count equal to count plus 1 is having what? 3 instructions. Now the answer सुनो अच्छे से. Producer executing the first instruction. Okay, count equal to count plus 1 का पहला instruction चला रहा है. So load the count value into register RP. So RP मतलब register for producer. So load the count value to register. Count equal to count plus 1 का पहला instruction. Load the count value to register. What's the count value now? 3. So we are loading the count value into register. Okay, remember every process will have its own register. Now producer executing second instruction. Producer executing second instruction, increment the register value. So increment करें तो क्या होगा बताओ? 4 होगा. Now after executing second instruction, assume that producer is getting preempted. Producer is getting preempted. Remember I told you already, preemption कभी भी हो सकता है, कहाँ पे भी हो सकता है. So I am assuming that okay, producer is getting preempted after second instruction. So preemption हो गया मतलब क्या है? उसका टाइम क्वांटम एक्सपायर हो गया. सिंपल सी बात है. टाइम क्वांटम एक्सपायर हो गए तो किधर जाएगा प्रोसेस? रनिंग में से रेडी में जाएगा. तो वापस प्रोसेस फिर से शेड्यूल होगा नहीं होगा? होगा ऑब्वियसली. इजली सी प्रीएम्पशन मतलब थोड़ी देर के लिए वो प्रीएम्प्ट हो गया, बस रनिंग स्टेट में से रेडी में गया, राइट? Now understand here. So after executing second instruction, I am assuming that okay, producer is preempted. Now next, I am executing consumer process. I am executing consumer. If you execute consumer here, void consumer void. Okay. Remember producer का पूरा execution complete नहीं हुआ. Second instruction होने के बाद ही यहाँ पे preempt हुआ. अभी count value कितना है बताओ? Count value अभी भी 3 है. देखो आपके सामने है. Count value okay change नहीं हुआ क्योंकि अपन store instruction नहीं चलाया, राइट? सो नाउ प्रोड्यूसर यहाँ पे प्रीएम्प्ट हो गया. आई एम एक्सिक्यूटिंग कंज्यूमर void int item c. we are going to declare the item while true मतलब infinite condition, while count equal to 0. now tell me count equal to 0. what is the count value now? 3. so count equal to 0. true or false? False. if it is false, you execute next statement. now what the next statement here? buffer of out and storing in the item c. buffer of out. Okay, now look at here. so consuming the item buffer of out. okay, out is pointing to 0. देखो इसको consume किया and storing in the item c. so item c में क्या होगा? x को अपन consume किया. next after that out equal to out plus 1 mod n. so out value कितना है अभी? 0 plus 1 1 mod 8 is 1. so out value 1 हो गया. next after this count equal to count minus 1 है. Remember, count equal to count minus 1, okay, will also having 3 instructions. So, loading the count value into register, decrement the register value and store the register value back into count. So, now, the answer सुनो जैसे producer यहाँ पे preempt हुआ था. Now, उसके बाद consumer का वो instruction चला रहा है अपन. Consumer का first instruction. What the first instruction here? Look at here. Load the count value into register. So, consumer के लिए अलग register लेना चाहिए. So, I am taking separate register for the consumer. Okay. Load the count value register. Tell me what is the count value? 3. So अभी भी modify नहीं हुआ था. Okay, right? Count value into register. So that is 3. And consumer executing second instruction. What the second instruction says? Decrement the register value. When you decrement the register value, so this becomes how much here? 2. Okay. And next, after this, consumer executing third instruction. Now, what the third instruction says? Store the register value into count. Okay, understand here. Consumer का third instruction चला रहा है. Store the register value into count. So, what the register value of the register value of the consumer? Okay, now look at here. Store the register value into count. Now, consumer का register में क्या value है? 2 है. Listen here. Now we are storing that into count. So now the count value is getting changed. Okay, 2. Now look at here. So we have completed all these instructions. Now consumer completed total execution. Now consumer is completed total execution. Consumer का पूरा खत्म हो गया. But remember producer का क्या हुआ था? Producer यहाँ पर आके preemption हुआ था. Now remember preemption मतलब क्या है? Running state में से ready में गया. Okay, पूरा execution complete नहीं हुआ. अभी भी उसका bus time बचा है. Is that clear? So now what does that mean? It means what? Process will be again scheduled and continue. Okay, it will continue the remaining execution. So when the producer is again scheduled onto the CPU, now tell me which instruction it will execute. Second के बाद यहाँ पे preemption हुआ था. अभी when it is again scheduled onto the CPU, which instruction it will execute? Third instruction it will execute. Okay, so how do you know that it should execute only third instruction? How do you know it should execute only third instruction? Program counter. Program counter. Program counter contains address of the next instruction to be executed. Address of the next instruction to be executed. So इसका third instruction का address होगा. So we are storing the register value into count. Now producer का register में जो value है वो count में जाएगा. Producer का register में क्या value है? Okay, 4 है. And it will be stored into count. Now look at it, that becomes 4. Right? Now look at here, understand carefully. Now I have completed total execution of the producer. I have completed total execution of the consumer. एक item को produce किया, एक item को consume किया. Okay, right? Okay, buffer में actually कितना item है? 3 item है. But your count is showing how much? Okay, 4. Count is showing 4. So actually buffer is having only 3 items. But the buffer, okay, count is showing how much here? 4. So when the buffer is having 3 items, how the count will show 4 here? So it is showing 4. It means that is called as a first problem we are having. That is called the first problem, and this problem is called as inconsistency. Inconsistency. Okay, I'll explain everything. Whatever your doubts are there, I'll explain everything. Listen to me carefully. That problem is called as what? Inconsistency. Now understand here why this problem is coming. Why this problem is coming? Now tell me why this problem is coming. Because producer and consumer are not properly synchronized. Producer and consumer are not properly synchronized. Thoda wait karo, I'll give the time. Don't copy, just you can just listen. Producer and consumer are not properly synchronized while sharing the common variable count. Okay, hence it is leading to the problem of what? Inconsistency. Okay, it is not properly providing synchronization. Producer and consumer are not properly synchronized, and that is the reason it is leading to the problem of what? Inconsistency. So this problem is called as what? Inconsistency, and this is the first problem we are going to face if we don't have a proper synchronization. Okay, now यहाँ पे problem क्यों आ रहा है? Because producer and consumer are not properly synchronized while sharing the common variable count. जब वो common variable count को share कर रहा है, okay, उसमें कोई proper synchronization नहीं है, so that is the reason we are having problem of what? Inconsistency. Right? So that is the explanation here. Now in this you will have this small doubts. Okay, some student may have a doubt. सबको नहीं होना चाहिए. Some students may have a doubt. Listen here. We are having in variable, out variable and count variable here. In variable, out variable and count variable. Remember, I am showing analysis only on the count variable. I am showing analysis only on the count variable. Why I am showing analysis only on the count variable? Okay, because count is the shared variable. रिमेंबर इन एंड आउट आर इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स ओनली, उसका कोई मतलब ही नहीं है, काउंट के बारे में मतलब है, बिकॉज काउंट इज अ शेयर वेरिएबल। नेक्स्ट दैट्स द फर्स्ट डाउट अगर किसी को है तो। अब सेकंड डाउट ओके ये होगा, सेकंड डाउट ये होगा व्हाई आई एम टेकिंग प्रीएम्पशन, व्हाई आई एम टेकिंग प्रीएम्पशन आफ्टर सेकंड इंस्ट्रक्शन। ओके सेकंड इंस्ट्रक्शन के बाद प्रीएम्पशन क्यों ले रहा हूं? So why I am taking preemption after second instruction? Okay, what is the answer? Answer is no answer, right? So why I am taking preemption after second instruction? Answer is no answer. Why? Because preemption can occur at any point of time after completion of the current instruction. Preemption may occur at any point of time after completion of the any instruction. Remember preemption यहाँ पे भी हो सकता था, प्रीएम्पशन यहाँ पे भी हो सकता था। ओके अब प्रीएम्पशन यहाँ पे भी हो सकता है, इज इट जस्ट एग्जांपल। ओके राइट, ये तो कंप्लीशन ही हो गया ना पूरा, राइट। सो प्रीएम्पशन यहाँ पे भी हो सकता है, यहाँ पे भी हो सकता है। ओके बट आई एम अज्यूमिंग दैट इट इज गेटिंग प्रीएम्प्टेड आफ्टर सेकंड इंस्ट्रक्शन। आई एम जस्ट अज्यूमिंग दैट इट इज गेटिंग प्रीएम्पशन आफ्टर सेकंड इंस्ट्रक्शन। इज अ पॉइंट क्लियर फॉर एवरीवन? राइट, लिसन टू माय स्टेटमेंट केयरफुली, लिसन टू माय स्टेटमेंट केयरफुली। रिमेंबर if all these instructions are executed without any preemption, if all these instructions, look at here, this instruction and these instructions, if all these instructions are executed without any preemption, okay, remember the solution may work fine, solution may work fine, but you cannot guarantee that preemption will never arise. You cannot guarantee that preemption will never arise after the second instruction. You cannot guarantee that preemption will never arise after the second instruction. Remember, if the preemption comes after the second instruction, what I am trying to say, if the preemption comes after the second instruction, okay, then there is a problem of what? Inconsistency. Okay, if the preemption comes after the second instruction, definitely there is a problem of what? Inconsistency. Okay, I think all the points are clear. Okay, अगर preemption अगर यहाँ पे हो रहा है तो वो problem होगा, अगर ये preemption हो ही नहीं रहा है तो no problem, solution में work fine. But remember, जो भी solution आप लिखोगे वो हर condition पे सही होना चाहिए। preemption होने भी दो, preemption नहीं भी होने दो तो भी वो सही काम करना चाहिए। अगर यहाँ पे preemption हो गया तो ये problem आएगा। Is that clear? So that problem will arise and solution become failed. Is that clear? Right. So this is the first problem we are having, inconsistency. Okay, first you copy this analysis, analysis copy करो, इधर सुनो अच्छे से, यहाँ पे count value भी change किया मैं पूरा, ये पूरा copy करो अच्छे से, ये वाला और ये वाला, copy this, pause my video and copy this. Okay. So next, okay, keep the heading, okay, इसके बारे में लिखिए पहले, keep the heading as a inconsistency, keep the heading inconsistency, note down the statement, note down, the producer and consumer are not properly synchronized, while sharing the common variable count. Hence, it is leading to the problem, leading, L-E-A-D-I-N-G, leading to the problem of inconsistency. Is that clear? So this is the first problem you are going to face if you don't have proper synchronization between the processes. अगर process के बीच में proper synchronization नहीं है, so this is the first problem you are going to face. Is that clear for everyone? Right. So that is the inconsistency problem. So ये problems को, ये सारे problems को अपन कैसे हटाएंगे और सही solution ये सारे इसके लिए कैसे बनाओगे, so that you will understand going forward. Is that clear? Right. Thank you so much. So hope it is clear. So next we will discuss the next problem what we are going to have in the next video. Thank you.